to sort of facilitate a discussion on self-care, which clearly by the number of people that have joined us, it obviously is in high demand. So welcome. Hope you're enjoying your conference and learning a lot of stuff. I just wanted to get a show of hands of how many are here for the first time to the Prisons Con. Gotcha. And how about second time? And third? And then lastly, who are old timers okay, got it. Well, welcome. This is my fourth conference, I think, as well as Missy's fourth conference. So we've been around the block a couple of times, and this is by far the best turnout of any conference I've ever attended, so that's wonderful. Anyway, we were going to start off with sharing a little bit about our own sort of reasons for searching for self-care, the need for self-care, what kind of brought us to the understanding of how important it was to really practice self-care on a regular basis to manage this life. And then our hope was to open it up to all of you. We're a particularly large group, so we're going to have to see how we can manage that, but we really like to hear from each and every one of you, if possible, of what you've been using for self-care and whatnot. But I'll get us started a little bit about myself. My daughter's 12 years old. She was diagnosed when she was 2. And in the beginning, I hit the ground running. I mean, fast-paced, trying to get all the answers to everything, trying to do everything as perfect as I thought I could possibly do it. Tried to stand in front of every single meltdown, tried to guard against all of them. And about 3 years ago, for myself, I hit a brick wall. I didn't know I hit a brick wall, but my body knew I hit a brick wall. I started to feel sick a lot. I had a lot of different ailments and pains and all this stuff. And then shortly after that, I ended up in the hospital with a significant infection that required a week's stay, surgery, the whole thing. While, of course, it was an infection, it's a legitimate thing, I'm convinced it was the running and the adrenaline and the anxiety and the stress and just pounding my body into the ground to keep up with what SMS brings to all of us, the crazy life. After that experience, I had a real heart-to-heart with myself about how if I'm gonna go the distance, which is far longer than 10 years of it, I'm gonna really have to develop a real significant self-care strategy plan for myself. And I did some reading, and you talk to people and all these elaborate ideas of what self-care is all about. And for me, simply, I just started not trying to do everything. I started saying no more often to people. I started slowing down. I started doing whatever it was that was going to make my body feel calm, because the moments when Sydney was around, I knew there was going to be no calm. So whatever opportunities I had, I just found the quiet. I started to learn to practice meditation, although I have to tell you I'm not great at it. But it actually sometimes is just all about focusing on your breathing and doing things that you enjoy, as simple as watching a show or finding a great book. Anything that kind of brought you back to that quiet, peaceful moment. It's been about 2 years since I was sick and all of that happened, and I feel much better ever since I learned the word no. And for me, that's a simple, one of the basic things I've learned for myself for self-care. Not this, I mean, of course, would I love someone to send me to a spa for the next 10 years? Of course. But that's obviously not realistic. We're all limited by support systems, respite workers, finances. So I was always under the impression that self-care was this big thing that was going to take a lot of time and money, but it doesn't always happen that way. Changing your diet, drinking more water, anything that kind of brings you back to you and what makes you feel good about you is really, for me, what self-care is all about.